Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Just ahead of John Frenzy, your favorite analyst. Oh, I didn't update my sports. So I will do that. Hang on. Let's bring in John Frenzy right now, Hall of Fame rider broadcaster. How you doing, Frenzy?
Good. Doing great.
Is that for real?
Yeah. What do you mean, is that for real?
Well, you were pretty depressed all morning when I picked you up about this.
Yeah, but it changed rather quickly.
Why? How?
One of our competitors' high-priced boss is gone, so that's good.
No. We're talking about football, John.
Right.
You were worried about that.
That's right. Worried about football. But I think we got a chance of making it happen. A good chance of making it happen. Too many good people out there. I think they put their heads together. They want it too much. We should be able to have some kind of football that's half decent. And I don't want to be half decent. I want to be nice decent. Everybody in their mind was going to a Grey Cup this year.
The Rough Riders.
Yeah. But I mean, the Grey Cup was going to be here. Not now. Well, it might maybe, but it's not what we thought it would be. So we've had to adjust our thinking. It's been quite an adjustment for the fans. Don't ever kid yourself. And I don't think we can dare fold the league. I mean, to say in a couple of weeks it's done for this year, oh, no. Because I've told you before, the guys tell me when you lose it for a year, it's hard to bring it back. Example here, 1944, the league took a holiday, was trying to get things in order after the Second World War, and it took them quite a long time, 3 years in fact, to get things back to the place we were before. 1945 wasn't too bad. 1946 was so-so. 1947 was better. 1948 was pretty good. The Stampeders brought in Pedersen, and that started the return of the first-class imports. But the guy told me, don't let it get away from you, Lynch. You lose it for a year, it's tough trying to get it back.
Who told you that?
Gary Kelly. You don't know him.
It's one of your best friends. I met him that day in Rollo, remember?
Yeah.
Or was that Don Perkins?
Don Perkins. Yeah, Gary.
That was your other best friend from Rollo.
Yeah. And I mean, I buy that. We can't let it get away. Or people are sitting back. They're not aggressive enough. I thought there'd be a revolt in town in March. On the legislative buildings, on CKRM, or in the Rough Rider office. Didn't you?
Not really.
Why?
Well, I see it a little different than everybody else, I guess. I'm going to read a couple of the comments from our viewers here. From Curtis Kemp, he says, Frenzy! They're all fired up for you, Lynch.
Good.
Katie Fleury writes in, she says, I feel like we will all get screwed over. Like me, for example, I've worked all through this pandemic while others get a weight supplement and all I haven't gotten anything. Yeesh. Well, there's a sentiment of why are we worrying about this Pro Football League when there's people like Katie, who, by the way, works at the hospital and she's a frontline healthcare worker who hasn't been looked after. I guess I would say this, at least you have been working through all this, Katie. A lot of people have not. It could be far worse. But, Lynch, do you talk to anybody who doesn't, live and die with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders? Do you have anybody in your life, besides your wife, that can see outside?
WS, eh? Comment. Plural.
Well, because your wife, she gets tired of this stuff.
Yeah.
She's told me.
Huh?
She's told me.
I understand that. I understand, yeah. Not a lot of people. Very few, as a matter of fact. Couple of guys. You wouldn't know them. Don't live and die football. One guy in particular. The rest of them do pretty well.
That's why they're your friends, right? Because they live and die with this.
They got different slants and different ideas. They care about the team. They got good ideas. They're smart guys, and they want the team here. It's good for Regina. Guy keeps telling me it's great for Saskatchewan. Should be here. How come they're not going all out to make sure it's going to happen? That's the thing I get asked the most. Why aren't we going all out to make sure the team stays here? And we're going to say in the middle of July, oh, what's happened? How come the team isn't here? What do we got to do? We got to do something about it. How come we didn't? We're going real stupid.
Well, Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in. He says, I love Lynch's history lessons. So that's from Jeff in Calgary. Nelson Hakowich, our VP of Sim Events, writing in, says, just give the man another Rockstar of the Day hat already. He's nailing it. From Monty in Saskatoon, John, you look good today. I'd like to think it's because of the RP Show golf shirt that you're wearing right now and the hat. That's got you all dressed up there.
The hat's great. People love this hat, by the way. Ask me where I got it. Well, I sell it to them. No, I say no way.
Well, you earned it. Of course you're not going to sell it.
I got to say it.
Carlos in Indianapolis is watching. He says, I don't see us arguing about a 2020 season by late July. I'm still in the camp that we'll have a decision by the end of June. And just to bring this all right back on track, thanks. I mean, you and DuPont were talking about this, Lynch, in the morning meeting. I don't know I was on the phone to Paul. That's why I was not paying attention to this. But you guys figure we need a deadline soon for this season. But what's the deadline that you think it will be?
Got to be July 1st. Got to be in 2 weeks. Friday, July 1st, isn't it? Is it Friday, July 1st or Saturday?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, one of the two. Anyway, it's 2 weeks from now. We've got to get a decision. The guys have been talking about this back and forth, kicking it around. So many different opinions you get. What you got to do now is put your heads together, all the organizations, and just make it happen. That's why I make it sound so simple, because I think it is. Just get together and make it happen. You want it. The Players Association want it.
Well, they want to play football and they want to be paid.
Yeah.
Jack,
that's reasonable what they want, what their request is. With Brian Ramsey, it's a reasonable request.
Yes and no. I'm going to read all these messages as much as I can. Guys, save Nelson's comment for a second. But first, Jack in Alberta says, John, nobody wants to see the 2020 season gone. But there is so much more here than just wishing. And the one thing, Jack, we got into this yesterday. Jack and I, but Lynch and I were discussing this in the car on the way up here. There are 0 cases of coronavirus where we live in this whole city and region. In fact, as a matter of fact, almost all of southern Saskatchewan. So it's hard for us to realize the panic that's going on in the major centers. I'm sorry, but until you've lived it, it's very hard to understand it, I guess. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So that's why John said, why can't we play? Our lives hasn't changed a whole lot.
No, they haven't. Not at all.
Well, really, not at all.
We're changing. We're wearing masks. We're not talking to people for 3 feet or
6 feet.
6 feet. I mean, we're doing some silly things.
Yeah. Brian in Vancouver. Here's a guy from the BC Lions Den podcast says, it's not simple, John. Lots of moving parts. Things change daily. Our Tyler Dacu wrote in. He's our social media technician. And he said, what do you say, 5 members of the Philadelphia Phillies have tested positive coronavirus, 3 players and 2 staff. There it is. 3 staff, 5 players and 3 staff. So 8 members, yeah. The reason, John, and it's not like our viewers don't know this, but it's about the safety of the players. I mean, yeah, I think CFL players want to play. There are some hesitant to stick their nose out and catch coronavirus. That's their right. I'm not going to call them down for their thoughts on them. Maybe they have their own reasons. Maybe they have a vulnerable person in their family that they're afraid of bringing the coronavirus home for. That's what it is, John. It's about getting everybody together.
Well, maybe they don't care. They want to play so badly, they're going to go and do it. They don't think they're going to get sick. They're not going to contact the sport, the pandemic.
Ooh. Yep. Evan Daum is watching, and he is the top communications guy for Canada West Football. And I know that Evan's going to put some people on the show next week. He's the guy that sent us this Canada West Football helmet. And he says playing sports in a pandemic is anything but simple, especially when you need people in the stands to pay the bills. Everyone wants it. Not so easy to deliver. Mm-hmm. And this is a guy that's worked from the inside guts of it. With university football, everybody wants to play. It's not just a case about want to, but you understand that. No.
But if we all have to want to, we go out and do it. Simple as that. I mean, I shouldn't say as simple as that, but it can be as simple as that. We can't talk about it. Let's go and do it. We just go do the games. We've got, as far as a college football here is concerned and CFL is concerned, we've got to get some crowds there to pay the bills. No question about that.
Well, hey, Lynch, you're smarter than you look because you just hit on something. NCAA football is playing, and as one university coach in Canada said to me, the model in America versus Canada, they're flipped. They're inverse. In America, sports funds the university. So why do you think they're bringing sports back? Right. So they can play. But that coach said in Canada, the universities fund the sports. Yep. So they're turning off the taps, and it's hurting a lot of people. So I guess the point here, and I don't want you, Evan, to think that I'm arguing with you, but to go down Lynch's line, how much is it about safety and how much is it about money? And that's where I said you're making a lot of sense, Lynch. When initially I thought you were off on the off-ramp to Crazy Town, turns out you're just leading the parade, making more sense than anybody.
But
you're welcome.
I just say it happens every fall to 90% of the Canadian football fans that are sports fans. You're looking forward to seeing CFL football or Canadian college football. The possibility of it not being there is difficult to swallow. And when it really happens, it gets down to those days, the short strokes, and it gets down to those days, boy, oh boy, there'll be a lot of crying around the city. How come we didn't fight more? How come we didn't do this and that? I still think there'll be a protest on the Rough Rider office or the Rider office, I should say, or the Parliament buildings, some way to try to get more money and get things united, because that's how fans will realize they miss it. A lot of people are at the beach still. Well, they're at the beach having a good time, enjoying themselves. When they come home, they're looking for the Labor Day game, and then they find out we don't have it. And the week later in Winnipeg. I mean, how much was that weekend, that double-day weekend, that Winnipeg, Saskatchewan weekend?
Oh, the Labor Day?
Winnipeg for the game.
Labor Day?
Regina.
Oh, the Banjo Bowl. Oh, I know. I know.
I mean, I can tell you stories about it. No, I can't.
Speaking of Winnipeg, Chris Schrader writes in, he says, good morning, guys. Hey, John, have you noticed that the whole world went to hell in a handbasket after the Bombers won the Cup? Very Winnipegish.
Way to go there, buddy.
Have a good day, folks.
I'll tell you one thing, guys. Mike OShea, the coach of the Bombers, did a great job. We haven't given him credit for that job he did. They hammered Hamilton 33-12. They looked terrific in that Grey Cup game.
They hammered the hell out of him. They ran him out of the gym.
Yeah, they did. It's called really wanting it. Well, a great show, a great job of coaching. They really wanted that job, and they looked terrific winning that game 33-12. So the people in Winnipeg that I talked to, they're counting on having football. Not they want it. They expect to have it. There'll be a revolt in these towns all across the country. I don't know if the league doesn't realize that. I just wonder if...
Well, I know, but...
I don't know. No, I'm not trying to be smart, Rod, but I wonder if Randy doesn't realize how big it's going to be.
Couple things. Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in. He says, I could see that happening in Saskatchewan, but nowhere else. He's talking about that quarantine city. But I saw the quote from Scott Mitchell, the Ticats president, yesterday saying, yes, it'll probably be, if we play at all, one city. But can we reasonably ask our players to come in for 9 straight weeks and play? Will they want to do that? How bad do you want to play football, I guess? How bad do you want a paycheck? How much do you love the game? We're going to put all this to David Benefield coming up in the next segment. Mr. Furious has logged in, and he'll join us after the break. But it's going to come down to the players. They're going to have to accept or reject the proposal, John, when they do put it to the players, whenever they do. So you are making a lot of sense, John.
I think they'll take it. The guys want to play football. I mean, their careers are short. How many times have we talked about that? 3 to 5 years. So they'll. It may be some quirks in it, but I think they'll accept anything they get if they can play football, because it means the league continues for this year and into the future. We're looking down next year and the year after that. We're just this mess right now is just a one-year thing. At least we all want to believe that. Now that may be wrong. It may turn out to be the right thing, but we want to believe that. And I think if we can put this together for this year, we'll be okay forever. But we can't forget about this year and say, hey, we'll put things away this year. Let things repair themselves. We'll be okay to reorganize ourselves in 21. It'll be a heck of a job doing that.
Well, I tell you what, Lynch, and I don't, forgive me for speaking for you, but you've been saying it for the last several weeks, and you've made sense. And your point is the guys that this league was built on were ass kickers, and they went out and got it done. Yep. And you're saying go out and get it done.
That's right.
That's what you've been saying.
That's right.
And that maybe there's something to that.
Yeah.
Just a couple text messages before we break. Dan from Regina writes in on the Prairie Mobile text line. He says, having breakfast this morning in the Kindersley Best Western, I heard the Rod Pedersen Show theme music. But it was a commercial for a company called Fast Signs. They stole your music. Did you know that, Darren? Have you ever heard that? It airs on CNN, I think. And the CTV News, da, 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 da. Actually, no, they didn't steal it. We just paid for the same music. Does that sound right, Darren? From anonymous texter, the CFL is like the Apollo. It's out here looking like the Challenger at the moment. Remember that?
Yep.
Zach in Calgary writes in. He says, good morning, RP. Today from Fairmont Hot Springs, BC. How are you guys this morning? By the way, July 1st is a Wednesday this year.
Okay.
Not that it really matters. If July 1st is the date, that's the date. And one more from Jim Wagner. He says, morning, gents. Nice bunny hug, Rod. Is that how they got you back into the gym? Enjoy your weekend and the CFL sim tonight, RP Nation. It's part of the reason that they got me back into the gym, but the Evolution Fitness called me and said, Rod, will you come back? It was the personal touch. They were nice about it, and I went back. And it's what teams are going to have to do. Get on the phone and call your ticket holders and your fans. What's it going to take to get you back into the stadium and arena? Serious.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't get to the sports update, but we will. It's for Red Bull Canada, who sent me this nice note, by the way, Frenzy. Can you imagine you on Red Bull? Have you ever had Red Bull?
No.
Can we get the man a Red Bull? Wait till his segment's over, though. You'll be the Apollo.
But let me tell you.
What?
I mean, wherever I go, people mob me. That's the wrong thing.
No, they do mob you. I've seen it.
So, I mean, that's all they want to tell me. So it's a big thing with Saskatchewan people. I'm trying to get somebody to believe that. You believe it. I don't know the riders believe it.
Sometimes I wonder what they do believe.
Yeah.
Cooper Campbell's watching in Mississippi, says, I'm in the U.S. and I'm going nuts without the CFL. A lot of the football people are, and football fans for sure. One more thing. Here, so for Rod Pedersen Show, here's a little taste of our new Red Bull Summer Edition, the Taste of Watermelon. Hope you enjoy. Best, Andra Ford. Where's those Red Bulls? Can you bring them out? Bring them out. Bring them out. David Benefield next. It's the RP Show, Football Friday. It is on Facebook Live, Game Plus TV Network, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music, CastBox, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and listen live at rodpeterson.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.